2025 is quite unique. I know we astrologers say it every year. We throw at you, oh my God, it's going to be intense, it's going to be unique. But it is. And here's why. 2025 is asking us to step into a completely new energy, a completely new landscape of vibration. Um, and even if you're not quite into astrology, you're probably feeling it. Things are changing. Things are changing in our society. Things are changing with AI. Things are changing with this and that. Um, Let me break down the astrology first. It's actually quite simple. Everything's changing. Everything is changing in 2025. So Pluto, as you know, changed signs into his next 19-year cycle in November 2024. So Pluto in 2024-5 is going to be going through his very first full year in Aquarius. That's the new vibe for the next 19 years. That's something we're going to experience once in our current physical lifetimes. So that's new. In 2025, Neptune, Saturn, Jupiter, Uranus, the big outer planets, all changing signs. And you may say, Damla, everything, these guys seem to be changing signs all the time. Not quite, and not at the same time. Neptune changes signs every 14 years, Saturn every 2.5 to 3 years, Jupiter about once a year, and then Uranus every 7 years. And it just so happens that they decided all to change signs in 2025. So at least for the next year, if you're thinking of Jupiter, or for the next 3 years, Saturn, or for the next 7 to 14 years. And if you think about Pluto, the next 19 years, we're entering new waters, new energetic vibrational formation. And it's going to take, January is actually starting out with a lot of retrogrades because it's going to take some adjustments on our part, on our physicality, to get used to swimming in new waters. And not only this, the inner planets, Mars, Venus, Mercury, are all going retrograde. And yes, Mercury goes retrograde about 3 times a year, but Mars and Venus don't always do that, and they don't do it at the same time. And this time they decided to bring it all for 2025. Have fun. And probably the most important, the nodes, meaning what you know to where you're going to, what you know from past parallel future lives to what you're going to for your evolution, for your soul purpose in this life. So what you know being the south node, what you're going to being the north node, their signs are changing. They're changing from Aries and Libra to Pisces and Virgo. So the north node and Aries is changing into North Node in Pisces. So Pisces and Virgo is different from Aries and Libra. So the South Node being in Virgo, Virgo is all about analyzing. Virgo is all about the mind, about concrete truths, about what's real and in front of you, what you can see with your eyes, taste with your mouth, that sort of thing. And then Pisces is let us swim into multidimensional waters. So I think with this whole landscape of watery, and I keep saying water because Pisces, of course, water element, but also there's something about 2025 that reminds me of that. What I mean is the vibrational um, ocean that we're swimming in is changing. And when that's happening, you can't go by what you know in your mind with your taste buds because it's no longer there. Or let's just say in 2025, it's no longer going to be there. And you got to learn to trust your vibrational instruments, the body. We talked about the body knowing. You got to trust your vibrational instrument, deep quantum instrument of the heart. You got to trust your inner knowing. So 2025 is all about what you know through your mind, which you still need. That's great. But you're going to be asked to leave some of the analyzing or overthinking behind to trust your inner knowing, trust your intuition, trust that as a vibrational being, the more you take care of this container, this body, you'll be able to swim through whatever waves and vibrations come at you. And then, of course, one more thing, one more change. When I said everything's changing, I meant it. Aries eclipse series finishes, Virgo Pisces eclipse series begins, and that happens every 1.5 to 2 years. So it's happening this year. Great. And these are uncharted waters, right? We're entering not only the planets changing signs and then how they interact with each other is changing because they're moving into different influences. Um, so different elements of you might be interacting with each other differently now. And I keep saying this, I've said this in 2024, but this is a great year for prioritizing your energetic wound, inner child healing. Why? When everything is changing and when your parts are sort of out of place, you gotta need tools to get back to that inner knowing, to get you kind of need to get to know yourself again, reconnect with yourself in new ways so that you can navigate these waters, so that you can find your way through this changing, evolving environment and allow for change to happen. It's very difficult for change to happen when you have blockages, when you have energies that have been sitting there for over a century, or for over, I don't know, since your childhood that you haven't really tended to. That's going to make it more difficult to swim. It's like trying to swim with a weighted vest. Not easy. Yes, you can do it potentially, but it's not going to be beneficial for you. It's just going to put more load and more weight into you versus taking a deep breath and really tending to your energetic wounds, connecting with your inner sparks or inner life sparks of your inner children. And I teach this in my Inner Child Crystal Healing membership, Chakra Bliss Vault. I help people do this on one-on-one sessions in my intuitive readings and in my inner child healing sessions. So those are available to you. Feel free to take advantage of those resources. And you will be asked to do this, prioritizing your energetic wound healing, inner child healing, and your well-being every single day. So those are two different things. There is the daily taking care of yourself, like the daily meditation. I don't know, you can do like a nice crystal healing here and there, which is great. You can do your walks, but then unless you go into the basement, I think that's a good analogy. You go into the basement of yourself, your subconscious, and you really look at the patterns, what needs to be cleared, what needs to be updated, what's no longer serving you. It's going to be very hard to do the daily well-being work unless you do the deeper inner healing work. So if you want to go into that journey with me, I'm here. Go to adropofom.com and let's figure out how I can be there for you.